Hello, Guy.
Hello, also guy.
So 2 weeks in a row, we wore the exact same clothes, the exact same hats, the exact same everything. I promise you, we didn't record one and then start right into the next one. This is definitely a week apart.
Yes,
100%.
yes. And I'm also a serious avid Bears fan.
Okay, so Dave's basically admitting that I lied.
No, I didn't.
And he's lying, and we're all just a bunch of guys who still high five that are liars.
I'm just trying to be a politician.
Got it. Well,
You
let
know.
me do this executive order here
Yes, do an executive order. Go ahead.
where nothing will change and you will like it.
Perfect.
All right. Um, should we just get right into words?
You know what? We should, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Yeah. Instead, we normally dick around for 20 minutes and then get into words.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into words. Give me a verb ending in ing.
Texting.
Ooh, that's a good one. I don't know if you've ever used that one. Verb past tense.
Forgot.
Just a regular verb. Two of them.
Um, let's do masturbate
Okay.
and question.
Okay. How about a place?
McDonald's.
McDonald's. Part of the body, plural.
Eyes.
A adjective. Looks like three of them.
Three adjectives.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's go with rapidly, unfortunately, and silly.
Okay. One, two, three, four, five plural nouns.
All right, let's go with roller skates, ninjas, cocaine, um, birds, and used condoms.
Okay. Now four noun.
Single noun.
Yep.
All right. Um, all right, let me think here. Penguin,
Okay.
alien testicle,
Okay.
the wall.
Wall.
Yeah, like the wall in Mexico.
Gotcha.
And let's go with submarine. Why not?
Okay. As we said last week, this is Patriotic Songs Part 2.
I forgot.
Well, it's been a week. It's understandable you would forget that. This
Yeah.
is Patriotic Songs Part 2.
All
Would
right.
you have would you have given different words had you remembered?
I would have, yes, I would
Really?
have. Yeah,
Well, hopefully this one turns out just as good as the last one did.
I'm hoping.
Well, so let me read this. Patriotic Songs Part 2. Here are more patriotic ninjas that will have you testing or texting a tune all day. Oh,
All
my
right.
does look like an S.
You need to learn to write. You write like
Well,
the
dude,
21.
I'm trying to write fast while you're spitting these words out.
Well, you write like a 21-year-old.
Ooh, another dig on last episode, huh? All right, so here are more patriotic ninjas that will have you texting a tune all day long. Stars and Stripes Forever. Hurrah for the penguin of the free. May it masturbate as our standard forever. the gem of the land, and the McDonald's, the banner of the unfortunately. I
We
feel
could try
like,
changing unfortunate.
yeah. Either way, I feel like Joe Biden wrote that song. My
Well, no, just
country,
a penguin.
'tis of thee. What's that?
I said just a masturbating penguin, no big deal.
Yep. My country, 'tis of thee. My alien testicle, 'tis of thee, silly land of liberty. Of thee I question, land where my cocaine died, land of the used condoms, pride. From every mountainside, let roller skates ring.
Yes.
All right. And the last one, the battle hymn of the Republic. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the submarine. This is a Beatles song,
Yeah,
clearly.
clearly.
He is trampling out the wall where the birds of wrath are stored. He hath forgot the fateful lightning of his rapidly swift sword.
That
That song actually sounds like a poem.
was interesting.
It was.
It worked out all right.
Mine eyes. That one actually, that part worked really good. Mine eyes. Um, all right. Well,
Okay. Not bad.
yeah, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Is there a part three? There is not a part three. So the next episode will not be a continuation. It will be unique all unto itself.
Very nice.
Very nice.
And we may we may have different clothes.
We may have different. Oh, yeah. In the next episode. Now I'm just going to wear the same shit every single episode. So now he will never know. Wait, did they record 35 episodes in the same day? Why is this beard the same? Oh, that would be hard. I'd have to get it just right
Yeah.
every week.
I'll
It's
bring
easier.
I'll just bring extra shirts every week. That'll really fuck them up.
So we can just switcheroo.
True. Yeah.
Well, to be fair, normally it is one a week. So this is a rare time where I'll just reveal it. We are recording two in one day.
You ruined it. They believed you.
They did believe me up until that. Well, this is the most transparent podcast in history. And
Yeah.
so I want to be transparent with our listeners and
Well, to
viewers.
be fully transparent, now we are completely transparent.
There you go. That'll be that'll be how the episode will be from now on. Wait, do that again. Put your name up there.
Hold on. There you
All right.
go. I forgot about those.
Yeah, it just made me remember them.
Oh,
We were playing with these
I can't do that because I don't have a video up.
exactly.
There you
That's
go.
that's fun. The
It is.
emojis that will stream across the screen. It's kind of a neat thing, like that you can do all that. Oh, speaking of, so we're obviously doing this in a Zoom. Um, Skype is going. Whoa,
I feel
what?
like I'm getting walked over.
uh,
Skype's doing what?
Skype is going away,
Really?
and it's they're only doing Teams now. Like, so the same company that bought Skype is behind Teams or whatever. So they're
Yeah.
gonna just get rid of Skype, and like then their whole focus will be in making Teams even better. Teams is, you know what Teams is.
Teams is stupid. I
Well,
hate
people use it through like companies and all that. So, and I think you can use Teams not just your company. You can use it like privately or whatever. So,
yeah, it's
anyways, it's just interesting because I honestly didn't know that the same company owned both, and I haven't used Skype in forever. So, no,
yeah.
Zoom seems to work pretty good. So,
Sometimes.
well, it's the internet that is fucked up sometimes.
Right, right, right.
Now, we had been having really shitty internet problems. I think we've been doing all right today, but I had to
You
restart
were
everything.
you were freezing a little bit last time.
Was I? Yeah, well, I can hear the kid playing video games over there, so he's probably bogging it down a little bit, but
Fucker.
it's all right. We'll get through it.
We
It'll be
will.
okay. Um, all right. So let's go ahead and get into a Dear Dave, eh?
Yay. You in the Canada thing all of a sudden again.
You
Because they're the 51st state or what?
know. Yeah. Apparently this is now a thing. Canada's booing the United States, the national anthem, at any event they can. It happened again, not with hockey.
Oh, not with hockey this time. Okay.
It was something else. I forget. Maybe it was, what was it?
It's probably horseback riding.
I'm just thinking, was it basketball? It was, seems like it was, I saw a different sport that, where
It might have been
they,
their Marco Polo championship.
yeah, I don't know. It was something though, but it's like becoming a thing, which is interesting because I thought Canada in general would want to be part of the United States for certain reasons. And I just have a hard time believing that it's just liberals going to events in Canada
Yeah.
uh, that would
When
be
you start
prohibited.
when you start hearing "Let's go Brandon," then we know we got a problem.
I don't know. That might actually be a good thing.
Oh, Brandon's so far gone now,
Let's go, Brandon.
though. Mhm.
That was some good stuff.
Do you have
Oh,
one that actually speaks English this time?
I'm hoping so. All right, so this one's all in Spanish.
Yay! Está bien, yo puedo hablar español.
C. All right,
¿Listo?
so here we go. This one is it's not as long, but there it looks like there might be a lot to unpack here. I'm not sure.
Muchas
Uh,
cosas, muchas palabras. Está bien, está bien.
all right, no more Spanish. I don't understand you.
You said all in Spanish.
Yeah, Dave's gonna do the rest of the show in Spanish. Me, on the other hand, will be speaking English. Okay. Am I freezing on your end or am I good?
No, I think you look pretty warm.
This coffee's hot. All right. This is subject line 40 male. My 35 female wife hates sex, doesn't work, says I'm a lazy person who ruined her life.
Wow.
Here's the meat of the letter. I'm a 40-year-old man and my wife is 35. We've been married for 9 years and together for 16. Today, out of the blue, she told me she feels nothing from sex with me and doesn't want to have sex anymore. She also said she hates spending time with me and feels frustrated that I'm home all the time. I work from home because of a serious injury I sustained last year in a car accident, an accident that happened while she was driving. She doesn't work and spends most of her time in her room. She's highly educated, but I've supported her financially since she was 19. I paid for around 10 years of her education. She has a PhD, and afterward, she decided not to work. She's antisocial, has no friends, and I've come to realize she's likely been depressed for a long time, though I didn't fully recognize it until now. I love her and want to help, but I'm also struggling. I have chronic pain from the accident along with the other medical issues, and my patience and tolerance are wearing thin. She rarely helps around the house. We have a cleaning lady, but she insists I should give her credit for cleaning the house because she changes the sheets occasionally. She also says I should be grateful because she makes me breakfast. I feel stuck. She has refused therapy and psychiatry, claiming medication doesn't work, and I feel like I've tried everything to improve our relationship. I've even consulted a divorce lawyer, but I'm conflicted and unsure of what to do. Is divorce the only option left? Are there any other ways to salvage this relationship, or is it time to move on? P.S. Um, I'll read it, but I don't know if this is a whole, basically needs to be its own letter. I also want to focus on my brother. He attempted suicide this year and was in a coma for 6 months. I want him to move in with me so I can take care of him. It's not possible with her because she says I constantly put my family ahead of her throughout the years. I feel like that part needs to be a whole separate letter, but I guess we can try and work that in. It may be pertinent to how you diagnose this. So that's the end of the letter.
All right. So what I would say to this gentleman here is if she is not willing to do any therapy or psychiatry on her own, then there is nothing to talk about with her. She's not willing to change. She's not willing to do anything for the relationship. She's already at this point given up. She can't stand to be around him. She doesn't like sex with him. She basically used him for the better part of 16 years of her life to get her college degree, pay for everything, and now she does the sheets every once in a while. So yeah, of course,
So makes
celebrate the
him
fact.
breakfast too. She
Oh,
does
I
make
know.
him, let's not deflate what she does for him.
Oh, I was still focusing on cleaning the house because that
Yeah,
was one thing he said. She wants recognition for cleaning the house when she changes the sheets every once in a while. Fuck that. That's not cleaning the house. That's making the bed and changing the sheets.
right.
Now, if she is making the bed, changing the sheets, sweeping, dusting, vacuuming, mopping, and cleaning the toilet, yeah, absolutely. Good job. But then why are we paying a cleaning lady? You know what
Right.
I mean?
That was a
Um,
question I was going to ask is she has a PhD. You've then decided not to work because you're antisocial. So you're at home, but yet you have a cleaning lady? That seems like you have plenty of time to fucking clean. I'm sorry. But you
yeah,
have a PhD. Why would you go all the way through college to get that to then just do nothing with it? That's insane to me.
yeah.
But
Well,
okay, continue.
so so my guess would be his best option would be to cut bait and run. Um, Take it as a learning curve. Don't allow women to manipulate you into paying for things that she really doesn't care about. Now switching gears to the brother, that would lead you to have the ability to bring your brother in to help him. But here's the other thing with brothers or people in general, you can't make them do anything they don't want to do. So if he's suicidal, depending on the reasons, he also then would need to get a counselor of his own to work on his depression issues and figure out why it is he is suicidal. If he's not willing to seek help, then bringing him in is not going to do anything other than you're going to be miserable more so than you are now. Because same thing as your wife, if he doesn't want the help, he's not going to take the help, and you can't force him to get the help. And then you may actually end up walking in on him after he had already killed himself. So those are things you need to look about and think about as well. So talk to your brother, see if he's willing and wanting the help before you move him in. If he doesn't want help and isn't willing to get help, then don't bother moving him in because you're just not going to get anywhere with him. It'll be more stress and bad for you. But I would say yes, if she doesn't want any counseling, doesn't want any psychiatry, then yeah, the writing's already on the wall. She's already pretty much done in your relationship. If she's staying in her room all day, she could be talking to other guys, other women, could be watching porn and jerking it all day long. Who knows what she's doing in there? You know, so that's what I would do in the quick short version.
Yeah, I agree. There's really nothing like I'm scanning back through to see if there's anything that we need to that you didn't hit on, and it's he works from home, so he is working. He works from home because of his car accident, but she doesn't do anything besides change the sheets and make him breakfast. And while yes, you can get credit for those things, the fact that like now he's saying that she's antisocial, has no friends, and been depressed for a long time. It's interesting that she's not willing or interested in maybe seeking out counseling or something to help with that.
Mhm.
Um, but like you said, you can't force anybody to do anything. But it would be interesting to have her go talk through why she's depressed or whatever, because maybe you could help that antisocial, you could help that getting her out and maybe getting friends or whatever. If they've been together since, well, he supported her since she was 19. I'm
Right.
assuming they got together when they were 18, 19, right around there, if I'm just guessing.
Well, I would say 19 because he said they've been together for 16 and she's 35.
Yeah, so he's basically been supporting her since they got together. 19, I mean, still kind of young, you know what I mean? Like, you don't typically stay with the person you're with at 19. You know what I mean? Not saying it can't happen, I'm sure it does, but usually, I don't know. I would say she needs to go get some fucking help too. I think she needs her own counselor. And
Right.
that would be the only way I think you might be able to. If she has a counselor, he has a counselor, and they can then figure out, work on her shit, work on his shit. Maybe you could somehow salvage the relationship. If she's not willing, then yeah, I agree, Dave. He's got to just cut it and move on. There's really no other that I can see from what is being written here. There's really no other way. He's obviously consulted a divorce lawyer. So,
Yeah, and once you do that part, like there's no going back from that. Once you, even if you don't put the retainer down, like once you make the decision to actually talk to a divorce lawyer, you've already made up your mind at that
mhm,
point. You know what I mean? You've already made up your mind.
yeah. I mean,
And yeah, so that's what I would say for him. Good luck.
yeah, good luck.
Both
And yeah, and
things,
then
man.
with the whole brother with the attempting suicide, brother needs his own deal. Everybody in this email needs their own deal. And you either got to be willing to do it or not. And there's only so much one person can do.
Right.
I don't know. It sucks being with somebody for all those years and then whatever, but I mean, you're 40, still got plenty of time left. Get Find somebody else. I mean,
Right.
I don't know.
That's my guess or my
Maybe
suggestion.
maybe just getting it getting it out there like, hey, I'm done with this because you're not willing to go seek help. You're not willing to do anything to whatever make this relationship better. Maybe it would be better off we're just not married anymore, and maybe that'll be enough to kind of open her eyes like, oh shit, I didn't realize this is where he was thinking. You know what I mean? So then maybe that will spark her to be like, okay, I need to do something here. Yeah, I'll go see a therapist or whatever. Sometimes they need that kick in the ass, you know,
Right.
because
Right.
they think, oh, well, this is just what my life will be. I'll stay in my room all the time. He'll be over there working. I'll change the sheets every once in a while. I'll make him some toast and some scrambled eggs, and this will be our life, and so maybe she's refusing other things, so maybe she's just accepted the depressed fucking life that she's gonna have, and maybe she needs that kick in the ass where the other person, I'm getting divorced. Oh, whoa, okay, I'll go see a counselor. I'll figure this out. But at that point, what's to say
That
that
point, it's too late.
he's already made his mind up? He's already like, I'm done. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I would almost, if I was him, and this is just me being like, whatever, I'd almost want reimbursement for paying for the education that you then never went and got a job to like contribute to this family.
Right.
And like, if I paid for 10 years of your fucking education to the point where you're getting a PhD and have nothing to like, you're not, I
You're
don't
not
understand that.
pursuing a
Here's
career
the
in
other
that
thing is
path.
how do you go to school for 10 years to get a PhD but be antisocial and have no friends? Was this all online schooling to get a full
Possible.
PhD? I mean, is that possible?
That's what I'm getting.
That's just, I would assume at some point you had to have a fucking class with humans where you were
Yeah,
physically like,
she
maybe not. I don't know.
should have had at least 2 weeks of residency because that's what I'll have. I already did one. I'll do another one this October. So yeah,
Yeah, or yeah, you're going for your PhD.
yeah,
I don't know. I get, but if you're antisocial and have no friends,
yeah. But that's his perception. She
that
may
is
have a.
his perception. But if she never leaves, I kind of wonder when she's sitting in her room, is there kind of like online
Right.
things? Because it's entirely possible she's getting the social satisfaction a different way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's possible. I don't know. We'd have to talk to her, but that's not going to happen, I'm sure. Anyways, I don't know. Really nothing left to be said there.
No. Good
It
luck.
is
I guess
it is what it is. So, um, all right. Man, we are moving right along.
we're chugging, man. Chugging along. We're like a
So,
train, man.
we're what?
We're like a train.
Yeah.
We're setting the tone.
Just like your shirt.
Yep. That's why I said it.
All right. So, let's see. Did you send a
Conspiracy.
conspiracy corner that you want me to cover?
I've sent you a lot of stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at these. Is you would want me to just go to the top or?
Yeah, go to the top, work your way down.
Excuse me, that was embarrassing. All right,
Hmm.
let me go ahead and share the screen and we'll jump into conspiracy corner.
Let me jump into Instagram.
All right, can you see it?
Yeah.
All right, so this is the first one.
All right.
Hang on. I want to stop the share because I just want to make sure I'm sharing with audio because I don't
Yeah.
think I checked it. Share sound.
Share with your sound. Sound you're sharing.
All right, so now it should work. I've got share sound click. I got to remember to click that.
Yeah.
I never remember to click it. So you can see it, right?
Yep.
Everything's happy. Mountain Dew. I
Yeah. Have you
no
watched
idea.
any of these? Okay.
No. I like to be surprised.
All right. All right.
Oh, here we go.
You want to call it a theory, but it lines up with everything. So even with Mountain Dew, every time, not and that's the thing, not every flavor correlates with every event, but it seems to be like every time they make a big push with a certain flavor, it correlates with a certain event. So they had a flavor back in 2001 called Code Red. 3 months later, 9/11 happens. That's a Code Red. Maui Burst. That's a flavor. 3 months later, guess what's happened?
Fires in Maui.
Fires in Maui. Francis Scott Key Bridge. Okay. Why did they have a flavor that released last year called Star Spangled Splash? Now, who wrote the Star Spangled Banner? Francis Scott Key. So every time something happens, these flavors that they push out, and sometimes they're new flavors or they re-release them. They even had a flavor called Pitch Black, and I told people to watch for it. Then the IT thing
Everything
happened.
shut down.
That shut down. One big blackout.
Yep.
I guess you want to call it a theory.
Okay.
Well, geez, that's concerning because the latest Mountain Dew flavor is shit. I should have chambered a joke here. I was gonna try and riff one and I can't. Uh, Epstein Files released. That's the new flavor, and so is
No,
that
actually,
good or bad? I mean,
it's called blue and white stripe building.
blue and white striped building. Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like a blue and white bomb pop. That's what they should have called it.
Ooh, bomb pop.
Yeah.
Um, well, that okay. all jokes aside, that is an interesting theory. I have heard this one before. The
So have
Mountain
I.
the Mountain Dews. Uh, it's it kind of has the same feel of like, well, the Simpsons predict all
Right.
these things. It has that same kind of like feel to it. Uh, it does make you wonder. I don't know. Do you think there's something to? Do you think Mountain Dew is kind of like ahead of the curve? Like, hey, we're gonna because we've talked about this in the past about how they have to kind of tell you before it happens. So if we tell you through whatever, it's your fault that you didn't see it.
Yeah, it's
Like,
your
you know
fault
what I
now.
mean? And it kind of gets these elites that are behind these events, it gets it off their conscious, basically. And this is kind of the point of it. This is what in us doing these kinds of discussions and all that we've come across, this is what they do, right?
Yeah,
So
and I think it's they get off on it. Like that's their drug of choice is to be like, look at what I just did. I got it. I just posted this or came with this new flavor and I posted it up for everyone to see. Everyone's drinking it, but they don't know that Epstein Island shit's gonna come out.
yeah,
Like they get off on that shit. They get off on showing us ahead of time because majority of the world is stupid and they're not fucking seeing it.
right.
I think there's something to it
I do
because
too.
they've never reused flavors except for Pitch Black.
Yeah. Now, Mountain Dew is also the nectar of the tards,
Yep.
as it has been kind of put out there. So but it makes sense. Like, if you're, yeah, if you're an elite and you're behind funding fucking chaos or whatever,
Hmm.
you would want to like tell people, and what's a better way to do it than with this fucking drink that I don't know how many million Americans and people around the world drink.
Right.
And for
I,
one, Mountain Dew is not good for you. I've heard it's like one of the worst pops you can drink. And
yeah.
two, you kind of like, yeah, 3 months before this thing happens, we'll release it and it'll be called Twin Towers is gonna come down. I mean, the only thing you could do is be fucking more on the nose with the name.
Yeah.
But it's getting you there. Like, you can figure it out once it's happened. Um, and yeah, does an elite sit there and get off on that? Like, oh, I've told them and they fucking didn't see it. So, but it's off my conscience because I told them it was going to happen.
Right.
Like,
Reading the comments, I like the one. Baja Blast came out 3 hours before my stepdad got diarrhea in Mexico. Riddle me that.
yeah. Well, I think my favorite one is that Mountain Dew actually responded and said, "Keep your voice down."
Oh shit, I didn't even see
It's
that.
literally the first
Yeah.
comment here. It says, "Keep your voice down." Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
So this would be like the Simpsons do an episode, and then whatever's predicted in this episode actually happens, and somebody puts it out and says, "Hey, the Simpsons literally said this," and then the creator of the Simpsons says, "Keep your voice down. You're exposing our little secret here." Like,
That
I'm
I didn't
sure
even see
Mountain
that.
Dew is just like playing like, oh yeah, it's funny, ha ha, ha, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But with that, it kind of because it kind of like gives them this like, yes, it's just a joke. Come on, whatever, by commenting on it. But would you not still do that if it was real?
Absolutely. Because
They
if
go
it
out the
was
sim.
real and they play along, they're not going to tell you it's real.
Well,
And
no,
they're going to play along to make it seem like it's just a big joke, but yeah, deep down that's them basically saying, yeah, it's real, but we're not going to tell you it's real. You know what I mean?
right. It's kind of interesting.
It is. I saw that and I was like, oh, this is interesting. I didn't see the note, but that's funny.
Yeah, that was the first thing I noticed. Is Mountain Dew commented on it. So, um, hmm,
Yeah. Interesting.
yeah, I don't know. It gets categorized with The Simpsons.
Yeah.
because there's oddities with The Simpsons and there's oddities now with Mountain Dew, and there's probably other. It could just be a coincidence, but like I don't tend to be a believe in coincidences. I think a lot of this shit is what it is, right? Like,
Yeah.
should we do another one?
We have time to do all these. They're all pretty short.
Are they? Okay. So this is from the Super Bowl performance by Kendrick Lamar, right? So a
Yep.
discussion about that. This is coming from the Jumpers podcast. The two Asian guys. The one guy I've noticed always wears a sticker on his face, and I think it's to like cover up a pimple, and that drives me nuts. But anyways, I'm
Oh,
sure there's people out there saying, "Oh, that fucking guy with this little white part of his beard drives me nuts." You know what I mean?
yeah.
I'm sure. But anyways, whatever.
Did started singing Peekaboo in the X. Why? Because he's trying to say Drake X.
80 pointers like a Kobe game.
Where did he do it? The 30-yard line. 30-yard line. What's the Roman numeral? Roman numerals of 30 is X, X, X. Also, he had 2 of Drake's X's plus the X on stage. Yeah. X, X, X. What was Tentacion known for? Split hair, the black dreads, the blonde dreads. Yeah. If you notice the backup dancers, did they have that? A split of black, and they also had red. Oh my god. When Kendrick opened, how did he look like rapping? He was like this.
He was crouched down just like the XXL freestyle.
Freestyle.
Yeah.
We circulate through us. Everybody must be judged.
Fear will be plentiful, death will be bountiful. I will spend none of
Everyone thought Kendrick's chain, the small A, was for A minor. No, it's not. It's for PJ Lang. Kendrick's
That's his brand.
Who is Drake signed under? Sony. So it's PJ Lang versus Sony, the controller. That was like a double entendre.
Oh shit.
When Kendrick was backstage after his performance, did you realize what he was wearing? He had a diamond binky, put it in his mouth, and he started dapping hands up.
Like a pacifier?
Yeah, like a pacifier. Because
Oh,
like
as
that.
a baby,
Yeah,
as a
baby.
kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
Say Drake, I hate you like I'm young.
And he wore a t-shirt, keep those people away from me.
You know how in the back when they had game over at the very end?
There was another one.
There was another one. Yeah.
Wrong way or something?
Yeah.
Remember when Uncle Sam was like,
Deduct one life. One life. And then he goes into the X and then starts singing Peekaboo, referencing X.
Kendrick, when he was rapping on stage, started singing Peekaboo.
So it's repeating, right?
Yeah, it's repeating now. So I didn't watch. Okay, first of all, I'll make some things very, very publicly known. I don't know the beef between Kendrick and Drake. I don't fucking care. I didn't watch the Super Bowl, but I'm very interested to hear people's takes on what it was. 'Cause I've heard very many different things about the Super Bowl and how many things were in there. And someone said that because they said deduct one life and game over, that Kendrick is the next one that's going to be offed by the Illuminati or something like that. So I'm curious on your take on these. Have you heard any of this shit, or do you know anything about it?
No, I've watched a lot of these little videos on the whole thing, but I feel lost in every single one of them because I don't know the origins of the beef between Kendrick Lamar and Drake. I have gathered that Drake is into underage girls. I've seen videos where he's kind of done shit, or kind of what would seem shady. Apparently, like who's the girl from Stranger Things? The girl that plays Eleven.
I didn't watch. I've never seen a single thing of Stranger Things.
Okay, well, anyways, that girl apparently when she was young, he we're let's say 14 or something. He like invited her to a party or was trying to like be her like friend, and it's kind of like, dude, you're like 30. What the fuck are you doing? Like, this is kind of weird. Like, apparently Drake's a pedophile, apparently. But what's the beef between the two? No idea. I have no fucking clue. We really should get somebody on here that like can explain it. The beef that like knows the beef and can explain it, and then we can watch the whole performance maybe. And because I've seen a bunch of videos like breaking shit down, and there's always Illuminati messaging within the Super Bowl halftime show and all this shit. I mean, that's just something that people look forward to at this point, you know?
Right.
But I've never been a fan of Kendrick Lamar or Drake, so they are outside of my knowledge scape, I guess.
Yeah, same here. Other than just these clips, I don't know any of their music.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure I would recognize the song if it was like on the radio, but I don't. I can see how because they had like the X in the circle. It seems like there is some sort of like connection to Sony and PlayStation controller or something like that. But the whole like game over and the crowd and I don't understand necessarily the Sam Jackson as Uncle. I get Uncle Sam, but I don't understand what it has to do with anything. Apparently the X's of Drake were being brought on stage or part of it. Obviously those are digs there, but like I said, I don't know what the beef is. Like what started the beef?
Mm.
Like we need to know that, I think, so we could properly diagnose what's
Maybe
really fucking going on here.
maybe we'll do a deeper dive conspiracy corner on
Yeah.
Patreon on the fucking beef.
Yeah. So we need to pull up a bunch of videos to figure out the beef, to then watch the whole halftime show, then start watching a handful of these like conspiracy videos and see if we can kind of put it all together. Like maybe that would be a good one for that, you know?
Yeah.
All right. I've seen this guy before, but no
Oh, I
idea.
like this guy. This is about the Delta plane.
Ah,
I think.
this here. Well,
Yeah,
let's do
another
this.
one.
We'll do these two first, and then we'll get to this one. So
Okay.
these are similar, I'm guessing, topics.
Yeah.
All right, I'll show you proof for it again, but you gotta do me a favor. Stop sleeping with your sister. You're trying to say when they step out the right side of this plane, this is the left side, they're exiting out the right side of the plane, that this FedEx, the skyscrapers, these buildings are all in that picture, in that view, and that the terminal is this close. They haven't moved this, it's still laying in the same orientation it was when the dude exited the plane, right? I'm about to hurt your feelings, boy. He's stepping out of the plane, stepping out of the left side of the airplane. Where is the FedEx building? Where's it at? Where is it? Where's the terminal? Where's the FedEx building? Pretty sure your family tree goes around and around like a wreath. Where's the terminal? Where's the FedEx building? That's what I'm asking. Fucking dunce cap. The plane is still oriented on the runway here. The exact same way they show it here. Where did this come from? Because this wasn't in the background. This is the far end of the runway, and they haven't moved this. This is iced up from when they sprayed it with water out on that cold runway in Toronto. Hasn't moved. It's still in the same orientation that it was. Missing a wing. Both of them, but still has both left and right side turbine engines and the front landing gear that's got pixels missing around the outside edge, like it was photoshopped into the foreground. I'm not discrediting the crash. I'm discrediting the evidence they're providing to the fucking public, you dipshit. Feel free to challenge me and the narrative, but don't be a condescending prick when you do it and start talking. See, around here, energy matches energy. You come here and talk shit, you get put in your fucking place. Learn it. All right, I'll show you proof for it again.
Okay, so I will comment on this. The only thing I can think of, so I have seen that video where the person's literally walking through the plane and steps out.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I've
it
seen
looks
that.
like they're in, when I first saw it, that was the first thing I saw. I had heard there was a Delta plane that crashed, and then I see that video. I didn't see that it was laying on the tarmac or any of these other photos and shit before that. So I thought, well, this plane clearly crashed in like fucking
Like a field.
Antarctica or
Yeah.
some like Siberia or some shit where there's nothing, because it looks like there's nothing. And airports can be big and whatever, but when you look at where it crashed from like a Google Maps perspective, you're there is some distance between where it crashed and say one of those buildings that he was showing,
Mhm.
but there's buildings on both sides of like, so like we could probably pull it up on Google Maps here. What was the airport?
Remember where? Hold on.
Wasn't it in it was Toronto.
I thought so, yeah.
Toronto, let's just pull up the airport there real quick. Okay. So I don't remember, but I did see a video about this. Let's say the plane crashed here, right where, right here, right? All right. So over here you have buildings, over here you have buildings, over here you have buildings, and even far away over here you have buildings. So let's say the plane's sitting right here. Let's just say. I don't
Yeah.
know, but let's just say. If they get off the plane going coming out this way, you should see this. If they get out the plane going this way, you should see this. They get out the plane going this way, you should see this. They get out the plane going this way, you might not see this, but the point is even when they get out and they kind of spin around in that video,
Yeah, yeah.
you don't see anything anywhere.
There's no buildings anywhere, no.
And I'm sorry, but I guarantee you this group of buildings, and all this are not set lower down than the fucking runways. I guarantee
Right.
you that's not the case. These are,
Right.
this is probably all level ground. So these buildings will all be above the line of sight. You should see something. Even if you're standing right here, if I were to take video and point it that way, this, any fucking direction, I should see something. It looks
Right.
like it's in the middle of goddamn nowhere.
Right, exactly.
And there's something wrong with that. Like, it does make you have to question
Everything.
what is actually going on here. Where was this? And that's the thing. I don't know. Like, even if it's over here, even if it's this part of the airport, you still have these. You have this. If I'm standing here, I should still be able to see this building,
Right.
this terminal. I should be able to see that there's buildings over here off the property. Like, you should be able to see that there's something. It shouldn't look like fucking Siberia,
Yeah, like-
where there's nothing.
In the middle of nowhere. Yeah, they're fucking landing in a big snowfield and there's nothing.
So it does make you wonder. So I guess what I don't understand once again about this is what's the fucking conspiracy here? Like okay,
Get
so you had a plane
people
crash,
scared. Get
but
people
then you
scared of flying.
photoshopped in this plane into a different location, but why?
Get
In
people
like,
scared of flying. Get them stuck to just staying at home again,
yeah,
just like they did in COVID.
I
Because there
do
was there was
I
a
do
plane
think-
crash every fucking week, every day for like what, a month?
Well, even look at last year, just in general. It seemed, Boeing probably had one of the worst PR years ever because it was just one thing after another with, different shit on planes breaking and crashing and just everything, and then this pilot supposedly on the Delta plane was a DEI hire, or that's what they're
Yeah.
saying. It was a female. Not that females can't be pilots, but she barely had enough hours to be like doing what she was doing, and the guy that was the veteran pilot was letting her do all that, and he was doing I don't know. I don't know. It seems odd. The only other thing I can say is perspective. There's that one photo where it's being taken and you see the buildings in the background, and that could have been taken with one of them really good lenses that can kind of keep two things that are 400 feet apart all focused, so it actually
Right.
looks closer than it is. But I think the hardest thing here is when you're getting off that plane on the ground, no building anywhere on that whole entire property is so far away that it should look like it did in that video.
Right. Like there's nothing there.
Right. There should be something.
Yep.
And the fact that there's nothing, no matter where you're at on that property, it just like O'Hare's a big airport. We've both been to O'Hare. If I went
Yep.
to the middle of the fucking tarmac and did a 360 video, you're gonna see the fucking terminals and different shit in different directions.
Right.
It's not gonna look like I'm in the middle of nowhere. So that is kind of weird. I'll be honest with that. That's kind of weird. So let's see what this other piece here is.
Walk us through what happened. Any warning at all?
No, it was a normal flight from, Minneapolis. I had been on the flight from Detroit coming into Toronto here. I was paying attention, watching out the window as we were coming in. I did notice, the winds were whipping pretty hard and the runways were snow covered.
Did the pilot say anything?
No, there was no warning. We were coming in for a landing, and when the plane came in, we hit the runway really hard and like extremely hard, and we kind of popped up, and it felt like we were leaning to the left. And then what happened was it was just incredibly fast. There was a giant firewall down the side. I could actually feel the heat through the glass. And then we were going sideways. I'm not even sure how many times we tumbled, but we ended.
Walk us
that you were in a plane crash a few hours ago. It's unbelievable. You have video that you recorded. We've been watching. Tell us when you first realized something was the matter.
Yeah, it was a typical flight from Minneapolis to Toronto, and we were coming in, and I did notice that the winds were super gusty. The snow had kind of blown over the runways, and so coming in, it just it was routine, but it was noticeable that the runways were kind of in a weird condition. And when we hit, it was just a super hard, hit the ground, and the plane went sideways, and I believe we skidded on our side and then flipped over on our back. Where we ended up, there was a big fireball out this left side of the plane. And when we got finished, it was I was upside down. Everybody else was there as well.
That you were in a
No buildings. Even in the last video we saw, there was no buildings. And no smoke. Thought this thing was on fire.
Yeah, unless they put that out while these people were still in there. Well, now they're shooting. It looks like de-icer actually.
Right. But there's your terminal there. You see it there. Barely.
Hmm. I want this guy to turn around, but you can kind of see when he gets off the plane, there's nothing.
No, there's nothing. It's like he's on a beach. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I thought it was when I first saw it. I was like, oh, it's sand.
Yeah, that's why I said beach, because it looks like it. But
And then you get out further and everybody's in coats and shit, and you're like, oh, this is snow. All right. This video or this is just a picture. So that's basically showing so you got this little antenna looking thing here. There's something there, but I don't know. I guess that could be one of those buildings.
super far away.
Yeah. And then it's another picture. But then there's that. So this is, I'll be honest with you, this doesn't even look like the same fucking plane to me.
I know.
Because
there you can clearly see Delta. Yeah, exactly.
And then look at this. I mean, this looks like, okay, so let's just say this was, and I don't know the exact date everything happened, but even if this was 2 days later, one, so the snow has blown on it and covered up Delta,
right?
Or was this later that day? I don't know. It doesn't look like it's the same fucking plane.
I know. And so that's there. Look at the front end, how charred it is.
Yeah.
Or that's at the back end. Maybe that is the back end.
Yeah, and this is okay. So the Delta is right in here on the other side of the plane. So
Yeah.
the picture is being taken, say I'm standing by this garage door,
Right.
right? When I take this picture or this video, I'm on that side of the plane. So
Right.
what's behind him here is all of
Supposedly that
this.
FedEx stuff. Yep. Exactly.
Here's the problem.
It's
Where's
not there.
FedEx? And that's where the people are like, what the fuck is going on here?
Right.
Because he's getting off the plane that direction. You should see this shit.
Yep.
Now it could just be, but here's the thing. Even with the perspective of, let's say the person that took this picture was kind of up and has one of those good lenses or whatever and takes his picture. So you're seeing the far background and it's appearing closer than it is. I'm confused because this FedEx plane here, it does not look like it's that far away. I mean,
Exactly.
this building and these planes would have to be a fucking mile away for this to make sense.
Right. And there's
So,
no way.
like, this is the FedEx building, and how do you get that perspective? Like, that's a weird, like, and we both do like camera work. So this is an odd kind of thing. And it's not like it's so high up that you're seeing the tops of the building. This is like I'm standing on the ground or maybe like a little hill further away with a really good zoom.
Right.
But getting off that plane, you wouldn't get this kind of perspective if it was that fucking far away,
Right. Exactly.
as seen in this picture here.
Right.
So
Like, look at how close that shit is.
yeah, and then that whole thing with the right around the wheels, it does
Yeah.
give vibes of like cut and paste.
Drop it! Come on! Don't take it down! Get that phone away! No. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Holy fuck. Oh my fucking god. Yo, I was just on this fucking plane. Oh my god. Yo, I was just on this fucking plane. Holy fuck. Drop it! Come on!
Okay. Now that I'm watching that video and hearing him, that sounds fake as fuck to me. What
Yeah.
he's saying.
Have you
Holy
never heard that?
fuck.
Have you never seen it?
I've seen the video, not with audio though.
Oh, okay.
The holy fuck, I was on that fucking plane. That seems not scripted, but like we had a meeting. We're all actors, and we had a meeting, and somebody's like, "All right, so we're gonna do POV from your perspective. You're gonna kind of hold the camera. You're gonna get off the plane, and we want you to kind of react. You're in shock. You're kind of, this is me as a director motivating this guy what I want to see out of him from this video." And we're in fucking Toronto where it looks like it's freezing ass cold, and the first thing I see is two guys in fucking t-shirts.
Yep.
I'm sorry, in an emergency, even in an emergency, why the fuck don't they have coats on?
Yep.
Or are these passengers helping people off and just freezing their ass off? Like, I don't know. I guess I shouldn't dig down into that too deep, but
Well, no, I even looked at the fact that the one guy copped a feel on her ass when she left. Did you see that? He pushed her on the ass as soon as she goes off that.
Oh, you're talking about before she.
Yeah,
went
before she
off
actually
one.
exits. Yeah.
And then this dude's smiling. You're just in a fucking plane crash. Like,
Yeah, he's having a good time.
and these are actors, right? Like,
Exactly. The
this
crisis
feels like what they would do if they're filming all right, we're gonna film a kind of like a reaction video of hey, we're the cast of the new show Lost, and our plane just crashed. and whatever. But these aren't like really good actors because they're smiling. It's like they casted me, like why is this guy always smiling? Like that would be me and everything, which is why I don't act. I stay behind the camera, but I know that about myself. This guy's fucking thinking this is the greatest thing ever happened.
Right.
And he was just in a plane crash. Granted, I'd probably be happy too that I survived a plane crash, but this seems odd.
Take it down! Put that phone away!
Once I put the
Holy
phone
fuck! Holy fuck!
And here's the other. So, yeah, people helping people get off, but yet there's no urgency to any of this. You've got the firefighter over to the.
Oh my fucking god!
So you had the firefighter, I think it's this guy or whatever. Like, where's the rescue personnel getting these people away from this plane? What if the fucking plane explodes?
Right. Well,
Like-
there's no rush because we know it's fake.
Well, yeah, and wait, as this guy keeps backing up, you got all these people off to the right here, or left, kind of just standing there.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all going to just take video of this thing. And nobody's like, get back, get over there, get away from the fucking plane. You know what I mean? Like, the whole, gaggle of them here. Well, we're just going to stand around, get pictures,
Yo, I was just on this fucking
No
plane.
urgency,
Oh my god.
Like, not even good at
Yo,
it.
I was just on this fucking plane. Holy
And the guy with the gray
Drop it!
backpack. See right there. There's the Copperfield
Yeah.
right there. But the guy with the gray backpack's got a fucking like professional camera.
Mhm.
Granted, people fly with those. I get that, but he was taking straight up photos. He wasn't fucking. He didn't give a shit.
This seems very fake.
Yeah.
All right. And then, yeah, well, see, now here's if they got off the plane here and what would be somewhere right in here behind the fire truck thing,
Yeah.
he's facing that direction. And as he moves over to this part,
Yeah.
we should
none
be
of that stuff's
seeing
there.
this. Like, I get the you see the height difference between a human and the size of the plane.
Yep.
But the further back he gets, now this is where perspective can come into play, because whoever's taking this photo is kind of up on a ridge or something. They're not so high that they're looking down at it, but they're looking across, and you can see this in the background. But this is closer than what's apparent in the other videos.
Correct.
It like when he gets over here, this should be, I mean, and like you can see something, but it looks so fucking far away.
Right.
So it could just be the perspective of being up when you take this picture, that you're seeing this shit in the distance just looks closer, but realistically from where these people are standing to this, I mean, would it be that clear and look that close if it's a fucking mile away?
No.
Or whatever, even 6 blocks away? How about 4 blocks away, 3 blocks away? Whatever the distance is from this fucking plane to this building, how far away is that? And why wouldn't it look closer when the guy's standing there with his camera?
Because it's all fake, dude. It's all photoshopped. That's the problem.
So what are we determining here? That they filmed a video, POV and all this somewhere, and then they photoshopped a plane on the tarmac in Toronto, or did they actually crash a plane in Toronto and they're just using this other footage? Like, what's the play with that? Like, what did they actually do here? What are we trying to think that was the process?
Oh, well, I think they crashed the plane somewhere. I don't even think it was crashed. I think it was just fucking staged there.
Kind of like
But
they just set it there and
yeah, just dropped it off fucking upside down. Said this is what our fucking scene is. You're just exiting the plane, saying that you're thankful that you left or you lived or whatever the fuck. And they couldn't do it on the fucking runway during the fucking normal business times because they had fucking planes and they had people there that could have witnessed it.
right.
Because I've never seen anybody that was at the airport the time this happened talking about it. And let's be
Yeah.
honest, everyone's videotaping shit all day long. Why did they not videotape it coming in and flip? Like there's no video of it flipping upside down, nothing like
Oh,
that.
there is. There is video.
Oh, I've never seen it.
Yeah. I did see that. So right here.
An unimaginable scene at Toronto's Pearson International Airport.
Oh, 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 no, 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 no.
We just landed. Our plane crashed. So you saw the plane land and
Yeah.
flip over, right? So what's weird about it, you just happen to be sitting there taking video of a fucking plane knowing it's gonna flip up. Like the whole fact that somebody got the video of it coming down, landing, and flipping seems like it was planned.
Yeah.
Because I've been to O'Hare a million times. I've seen a million planes fly overhead at the Allstate Arena. I don't film them
Right.
because I'm used to it. That's me. Now this person could have just gotten fucking lucky, but like I said earlier, coincidences. I don't necessarily believe in coincidences. This seems a little too perfect, if you ask me.
And
the goddamn
that
plane
video-
is perfectly framed as it's coming in, down, flips over. It's perfectly framed like somebody that films shit would film it. Where's the shaky camera? If this person went and saw a UFO 10 minutes later, they wouldn't be able to hold their goddamn camera still. But yet,
Why
they
can't
can
that be
get this-
AI?
What's that?
Why couldn't it be an AI video?
I guess it could be. Anything's possible. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it does exist. There is a video of this thing fucking crash and landing. And we're not going to watch all this, but like, I don't know.
I had never seen that, so
Yeah.
but still, that's not from inside the fucking terminal.
No, that's what I was going to say. So nobody over here at FedEx stopped to fucking take a picture or anything like
Right.
After the plane fucking crashed. Nobody thought, oh, let me snap a picture. You know, I'm on break. Nobody that's up in this, and I think this could be an actual terminal or this could be the FedEx building. You see people in the fucking windows. Nobody thought to turn and take a goddamn picture or video.
Right.
I mean, maybe
Yeah, why
they're
are we
the
not
ones
seeing
that,
pictures from the other angle? All the pictures we have are from this angle.
yeah. The only thing I can think is someone from FedEx.
An unimaginable
Now that- but
scene
that
at
looks like-
Toronto's Pearson
That looks like somebody sitting in a fucking car.
Yeah, on the
And see,
tarmac.
now this looks like where that guy got out at.
Yeah.
This landscape, right? But
Right.
how do we know this was filmed?
An unimaginable scene at Toronto's Pearson International Airport.
Oh, 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 no, 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 no.
The other thing is that person could have been filming that from the inside of an airplane. Because this looks like an airplane window. Kind of.
Maybe.
An unimaginable scene at
I'm not sure.
No, I don't think so because it wouldn't have.
It should be not
The
that
airplane
big.
windows aren't that big.
Right. So what this person filmed this from the fucking front seat of a fire truck that was just waiting for this thing to crash so they could rush over and put out the fire. Because if that's the case, you had prior knowledge that this was going to happen.
Right.
So, but
At Toronto's Pearson International Airport.
okay, let's say you work at the fucking airport. You see planes come in and land all the time.
Yeah, you're just going to videotape this one?
You just happen to videotape this one that's going to land and flip over. Once again, seems a little suspect. That's all I'll say.
Right. No, the whole thing was fucking weird.
Yeah, this person here comments, dude smiling as the person got off. Yeah, crisis actors for sure. 100%. There's something odd about this. Even if the crash was real, they then brought out crisis actors and put them on the plane and then had them. This is why you've got him reacting the way he was. You've got the dude smiling on a fucking t-shirt when it's freezing out. Like, I mean, that looks windy and miserably cold.
Yeah.
I don't think it was 70, you know? And while I get it, if you're on an airplane and you're landing, you might not have your coat on, but they don't even look cold.
No.
You know what I mean? They don't look cold. They look like, I don't know. And here's the thing, you can do just about any of this shit in a fucking studio. You know?
Right.
I don't know, dude. Whole thing's weird. All right.
It is.
I guess get rid of those. Oh, you got rid of the one already. I don't know what's going on with Delta. That's an odd one. I have to look deeper into that too. All right. Book written in 97 predicted what will happen in 2025.
Of if this was, I'm going to use this word predicted for lack of a better word. This is not prophecy, but prediction. If this was predicted 27 years ago, somebody knew something. Okay, here's the list. This is an abbreviated list. I could have made it much longer. You know I can. I didn't. Okay, you ready for the list?
Yeah, get on with it.
Fast mutating viral disease pandemics. Genetically developed vaccines. Smart IDs. 1997! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to scream, but, you know, just make sure none of you are nodding off, you know, because the eyes get heavy and... DNA database tracking. DNA chips. Get this one. 1997, gene-based pharmaceuticals. Transmitting genetic instructions for a disease process. How about this one? You ready for it? Wait for it. Artificial intelligence to determine gene patterns. 27 years ago, who had heard about AI? Apparently they had. How about this one? Robots for doing genome sequencing. And then this one blew me away. Using recombinant DNA for making spike proteins. 1997? It gets even worse. Smart homes. They have a whole chapter on smart homes / smart cities. This one will absolutely floor you. It did me. In 1997, and this is, you can do the word search and research yourself. They predicted not 2025, but by 2020, that people would be working from home virtually. Come on. Listen, that's, you know, I mean, how do you know that? Because you're the one who did that. World War III, of course. Nuclear devices causing widespread contamination. Nanotech devices. This stuff was never even heard of. Digital currency. And last but certainly not least, vaccination programs. I'm sorry, I got to chuckle, because if I don't, I'll cry. Vaccination programs run by organizations like the World Health Organization for a global killer that has yet to emerge. First printing, February 1997. Of
I want to know what book it is because I'm very curious.
So do I. Does it say?
No, everything that I saw on there was just Bible stuff.
Okay. It does seem like something like that. Okay, so when he was saying all this stuff, you know how they always say, "Oh, the military has technology that's 50 years advanced," right?
Yep.
So if it, that's the first thing I was thinking. Now, granted, this is not military. This is not, that kind of thing. But like knowing about AI, well, I do think AI probably existed in 1997 in probably certain sectors that was not privy to just all of us, right? What year was the movie AI made?
I was gonna say, when was Terminator made? Terminator was before AI.
Wasn't that in the fucking 80s or
That's what I'm
early
thinking.
90s?
91 for Terminator.
Okay, so the here's the thing. It seems like 27 years ago, AI. Okay, but the concept of this shit has been around longer than 27 years. I guarantee you. Look up the movie.
AI was 2001.
Okay. So it had been talked about is the point. So the fact that in 90 now, if you would have told me 37 or 77 or 67 or 57, I would feel like that's a little more, because I don't think they were thinking about fucking AI and virtual working at home and all this shit in the 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. But probably by the 80s, I think it was a thing. The fact that this book was written in 97, I think these were concepts and ideas that had been talked about. They had been, kind of whatever. And you have people like Bill Gates, these, super villains from James Bond movie. Bill Gates is one of them, who they're the ones behind these fucking concepts and ideas, or at least going to be the face of it in terms of how it's presented, and they're pushed towards these things that they want to see done, be it 27 years it takes them to get there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Think about, like, I don't know, shit that Elon Musk's talking about. You take one of those concepts, those weird ideas that he has, and you say, all right, I'm going to focus on this one weird, crazy thing that he's talking about. And for 27 years, you work on this thing and it becomes a reality. But he talked about it in 2022. Okay, so it was impossible in 2022, but it's not in 2049.
Right.
So was it, and like, to me, I don't put a whole lot of like, I think there's clearly a group of people, the elites, whoever it is, that are motivated to do different things. And while it may take them several years to do it, I don't think this is like a. There's clearly a plan that had been around probably before 97. It was put into writing, and it is all coming to fruition right about the same time. But and I honestly think, I bet you their plan was a lot sooner than 2025. You know, what about all the fucking people back in the 80s and 70s that said we'd have flying cars by 2000? Well, we don't have that yet, but at some point when we do have a flying car, somebody's gonna look back and say, "How the fuck did they know that back in the 80s?" Well, I don't, because it's one of those things, I don't put a whole lot into this. I'll be honest with you.
The only thing that I really kind of was surprised by was the smart homes, smart cities, and the working virtually in 2020. Those are the only ones that really kind of stuck out to me.
Read that 1985, that book.
Yeah.
Doesn't that talk about smart homes and smart cities and
I don't know,
being connected and controlled by I maybe not, but I thought it did. So and that's even sooner than 97. So
yeah.
I think the concept and idea of smart homes, smart cities, being connected, AI, all this shit was around a lot longer than I think our memories are kind of like, because that 97 doesn't seem like it was 27 years ago.
Right.
For one, or whatever. It seems, or what, 28 years ago, right?
Now, yeah.
So honestly, 1997 doesn't seem like it was that long ago for me. I was in 7th grade. So while I'm my current age, it does not feel like it's been 20 something years. It feels like it was maybe 10 years ago.
Right.
So, I don't put much into this video. I think the delivery of this guy's trying to make it more extravagant. It'd be like me sitting here saying, "Oh, I don't know." It's all how you deliver it, and you're making it seem more dramatic than it needs to be, I guess.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't know. I think everything that we find out about COVID-19, they were talking about it a year before that publicly, and had probably been talking about it 20 years before that privately. All this shit is, yes, probably pre-planned, and it is, once again, it's put in a book so they can tell you, yeah, this shit's coming, and it's off our conscience now when it comes and you don't like it. We told you about it in 97. You know what I mean? We were talking about it in 77, and it took us 20 years to get a name for it and all this, and I don't know, dude. I don't put anything into that video. I don't like that one.
All right. Well, they're not all gonna be winners.
No, they're not.
This next one is similar to what we talked about. I can't remember if it was on the air last time or not, but about insurance.
Okay.
So this will be interesting. How can I help
you? So I think there's a mistake on the bill, but maybe you could help me out. We got a bill, and then we realized that you guys didn't have our insurance, so we sent you the insurance, and it looks like the bill went up.
It went up?
Yeah, the first bill we got without the insurance was $600, and then the second one was almost $1,300.
Okay. Yeah, so that the first invoice you received, that's a discount that you receive if you're uninsured. So you're not eligible for the discount since you are insured. And so the bill was $2,342.14. We billed your insurance. Your insurance only paid $1,078.85.
Can I go back to the discount without the insurance?
No, so you're insured, so you're not eligible for the discount.
If I go cancel my insurance, am I eligible for the discount?
No, sir, because we checked eligibility and you do have active coverage for data service.
Oh, I needed to cancel it before I got the service to get the discount.
You're only eligible for the discount if you're uninsured.
Okay, so I'll get cheaper health care if I'm uninsured.
If you're uninsured, you're eligible for the discount, correct?
This is inferior.
Is this common? Like I pay for insurance and I end up paying more out of pocket because I pay for a premium? That's wild.
No, this is a new law that started 2024 AB 716, and the law is if you receive a discount if you're uninsured.
Okay.
So when we first send a invoice to the patient, we bill them as if they're uninsured. If you're insured, unfortunately, you're not eligible for the discount.
Okay, so just if I have the incentive straight here, if I want to pay less for medical care, I should cancel my insurance if my daughter needs life-saving medical care?
I'm not sure. I don't know, sir.
You
should cancel your insurance. I'm just letting you know that discount's only for patients who are uninsured.
Okay, that is special. That is a special law. So there's no way to put that discount onto an insured person. Only the uninsured people get that.
Correct. How can I help you?
So this is insane. And I think the reason for this, and be completely honest here, I think the reason they do this is because if you have insurance, they typically have insurance because you have a job, which means you have an income stream, right? So, hence the reason for the higher bill. Now, you don't have insurance, which means you probably don't have a job, which means you don't have an income stream. So it's going to be a lot harder for you to come up with that, say, $600 for the ambulance ride, right? So they're charging you exactly probably what it costs with maybe a little upcharge when you don't have insurance, because they're hoping you get something, or they're hoping to get something from you, right? Here, I'll go to since we cleared that off, we'll go to so people can see us. So they're hoping to get some sort of dollar amount out of you. And if they gave you a bill that was, $1,300, they're probably not going to get anything. If they give you one that's $600, it doesn't seem as, it's a lot easier to pay $600 than $1,300 when you don't have any money, right? So that's the reason for the discount. It's not a discount. It's probably what it actually costs with a little bit of premium put on there, right? They see you got insurance. Well, insurance is going to pay X amount, and they know you have money because you have a job or you wouldn't have this insurance. So they figure, well, you've got money. You want to be able to do things and get loans and all this. Well, you've got these medical bills you're going to have to pay. We're probably going to get that $1,300 out of you.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
So to me, that is a fucking scam. Now, whose fault is it? Is it the insurance or is it the medical industry? Because I don't think it's necessarily the insurance here. I think the medical industry is full of shit to some extent. Now, the insurance is also full of shit, but it should be one price across the board. Insurance or no insurance, one price. An ambulance ride is this much. A shot of whatever is this much. A Tylenol is this much. It should just have a flat fucking price. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are, whatever. The other reason they do this, I think, is because you get somebody, no insurance, no whatever. They come in, they need surgery, they go through all this shit. They can't turn people away, so they got to do all this shit, knowing full well they're racking up all these medical bills and are never going to see a dime.
Yeah.
But that doctor still needs to get paid. That rented room that was used while you recovered still needs to get paid for. So how do they get paid for it? Well, we go hit these insurance companies. We raise the price for people that have insurance because some of that premium on the guy over here that got all free everything needs to get paid. Well, Dave, you have insurance, so we're going to take some of this premium that didn't get paid and we're going to apply it over here to your shit so that we can get paid for you and them.
Yep.
This way we're not out. It's a fucking scam. It shouldn't exist.
No, I agree. I hate insurance.
That video is infuriating.
I figured you'd like that one.
That one's like that one could easily turn into a rant for me. But can you hear a dog barking?
Yes.
Right outside the studio is the dog, like on the outside of the building.
Yeah, I can hear
I don't
him.
know why we're barking right now, but apparently there's something out there that's pissing him off. So, anyways,
Maybe he doesn't like insurance.
yeah, he doesn't like insurance either. He thinks it's a scam. He's ranting about it. So yeah, I don't know how. I don't know how you fix this problem other than having you make all hospitals, all healthcare set a price. Which is this another thing, not to go back to last episode that I'm going to bitch about, but I could have sworn in Trump's first term he put some sort of bill or executive order or something in place saying hospitals must set a price. It will be the same price no matter if you're insured or not insured, and that price has to be acknowledged. I don't know what happened to that.
Well, Biden probably fucking vetoed it.
Okay, then why don't we put it back in? Like, to me, it just seems so stupid. Like, what are we doing? Like,
Right.
it's about the only way you can do it. But then now you go to these insurance companies, they'll say, well, or, you know, or even the hospitals, well, if it's all one price and this guy over here comes in and doesn't pay anything, we're just supposed to do free health care or whatever, like, I get it. But at the same time, I don't. Like, there's no reason I should be in the hospital and you give me a Tylenol and then charge me $330 for it when I could have had my wife go to Walgreens or CVS and buy a bottle of Tylenol, the exact same shit you're giving me, and bring that to me, and I take that, and we just bought that for $4.
Right.
Why are you charging me? And that's a bottle of 100, not one for 330. So how can you even justify that? Oh, well, we got to pay the person that brought it to you, and that's completely different. That's not anything to do with this piece of Tylenol that you're giving me.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's fucking outrageous. I don't know how you fix the whole overall problem, but I think you got to start somewhere, and that would be hospitals have to set a price, and that's just what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But then I think you also need, like, up where I used to live and where you kind of live, you have a choice of hospital. Like, there's lots of options kind of within a 20, 30-mile radius, right?
Right.
Where I'm at now, we have one option. There is no choice. The entire area is covered by one health system, and you don't have choice. And it's kind of shitty. Like, it's like, so I gotta basically drive 2 hours to get to a different health system. Like, this is a bigger area than where you currently live too, but yet you're a smaller population area, and yet you have what, 4 hospital health system options, and I in a place that's got 100,000 more people, but yet we only have one. Well, when you only have one, Dave, now you have no competition, so now you can really fucking set your price.
Right.
Like, at least there's competition where you're at. And I get it. The guy in the video we just watched is not in either one of our areas, but like, the whole thing is just, it's a racket. And
it is. And it's the big problem is Big Pharma is really one that's got a blame to it too. You know, it is. I absolutely I wish that we could get rid of insurance and you can just fucking go pay what you got to pay and be done.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, you
because it is.
also have a different fight with insurance because
Yeah.
most of the clients you see are on an insurance and they kind of regulate it, like we were talking about this off the air. They kind of regulate a person's mental health care without acknowledging the actual needs of the person. Like,
Right.
like someone might need 2 or 3 times a week to have a counselor, but as the insurance company, we'll pay in for 1 hour a week. So what are you supposed to do? If you're the client here, well, I guess I just have to suffer through. And if you're the counselor, you basically have to say, well, ethically, I can't just let this person whatever, but I also am not going to work for free.
Right.
Like it's like what the fuck are we doing here? It's such an ass backwards system, you know?
It is.
I don't
It is.
get it.
And
I
that's
don't
the
know
other thing
how-
I hate is so let's say this is the thing I don't understand either. So let's say a client has Blue Cross Blue Shield, we'll say, as their primary because they have a job and they have that. But because they have a kid and they're a single mother, they also have Medicaid, right? So I bill the mother for her insurance for the session. Well, then Blue Cross Blue Shield denies it because she also has Medicaid and they fight over who has to pay for it. And I'm like, I put you down as the primary, they're the secondary, so you pay the most and then they pay whatever's left over.
Yeah.
But they deny it. I have one client, I shit you not, I've seen twice a week since August of last year. I've gotten paid zero.
Wow.
Zero.
So essentially at this point you're working for free on this one client.
Yep. Yeah, and
because they're fighting over who's going to pay for what.
Yeah. We've
It's so
contacted Blue Cross
fucking
Blue
stupid.
Shield, we've contacted Medicaid, we've contacted both of them, and they're like, well, we don't know what to tell you. We'll look into it. So we've got 3 complaints on the Department of Insurance, 3 departments on Department of Health, and the commissioner or the governor of Wisconsin has gotten involved. Still not no money out of it.
Well, and I'm going to say it, but it makes you then kind of think, well, maybe what Mangione did should be more, and I'm not promoting it at all. And I'm saying it kind of humanizes what he did as like you know what? If you're not going to fucking figure it out, we'll take it into our own hands.
Yeah. It's
And-
very much like John Q.
Yeah. John Q is a perfect example.
Yep.
Of that movie. If you want to understand just how fucking crazy this shit is, watch that movie because it's insane. And it shouldn't be like that.
No, it shouldn't, but it is. You
And
know?
I'm not sitting here also saying we should have free healthcare because I don't understand that system. It seems like that system doesn't work because all I ever hear is that people sit in fucking emergency rooms for hours and hours and days and never get anywhere. So free healthcare doesn't work either. But there has to be a way to do this system. Once again, it's something that needs to be stopped, shut down, and restarted fresh. And I don't know how the fuck you do that
Yeah, it's got to be revamped for sure.
somehow. For
And the other
different
thing,
things.
there's too many insurance companies.
Yeah.
You know, there's way too many insurance companies. Right now, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different insurance companies that I'm aware of that my clients have right now.
That's crazy. And
And
that's just in your
one
area.
state.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just one state. And that doesn't include all of the other insurance companies that I'm able to see clients in that I don't have clients that have that insurance.
Right.
You
And
know, there's
now
probably
take
100
that
different.
state and do that 50 times over.
Yeah.
Because each state probably has as many or whatever. Some probably have even more.
Right.
Some might have less. But like, yeah, it's insane. And I don't know. I really don't know. Like, how do you? It's bad. It's a bad situation. We're in a fucking weird times, dude.
Yeah, to say the least, bro.
But to the point of the video, it does kind of like, so I would be better off just not having insurance because I would get cheaper, I would get billed less, and and I'd be getting a discount then if I just didn't have this thing. So not only are you saving money by not having to pay the premium for your insurance, but when you do need health care, they still have to see you, but your bill will be less.
Yeah.
So what's your incentive to having fucking insurance? If you have insurance, you have to pay a premium to have this insurance. But then on top of that, when your insurance only pays a portion, you're still going to get billed more or higher, double.
Yeah.
That's fucking stupid. It doesn't make any sense. There's no incentive to have insurance in that.
See, and that's what I
world.
don't understand. So let's like look at my world, right? So let's just say I charge, we'll say $200 for a session for an hour, right? To insurance. Your insurance company pays me $110 of the 200 that I billed. I'm not going back to you for the other $90. It's just that's what I got paid for that hour.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, so I don't understand why they're like, oh, well, your bill's $2,300, your insurance paid 13, you got to pay the difference. Like, that shouldn't be a thing.
Yeah.
You have insurance, you pay insurance, whatever they pay is what they pay. You shouldn't have to pay a difference.
Right.
You know what I mean? That shit's fucked up. You
But
know,
then
that's
that
all,
kind of gives
that's all,
that
all
gives
fucking,
insurance too much power though, because then they can say, well, we're only going to pay $10. Yeah, but if it's an ambulance ride, that doesn't even pay for our gas. I can see this becoming an argument, and it's like,
right.
okay, so then once again, we set a fucking price. The insurance will pay this price if you have the full coverage insurance. If you don't, then we pay a percentage and the remainder goes. But there needs to be a set price. It's the only way you can kind of start getting this to a
Fixed.
yeah, you have to set a price and that's what it is. And I don't know, it's yeah. You shouldn't be um you shouldn't be punishing people for having insurance. Like that's kind of it's stupid. It's
It
a
is.
dumb way of running a fucking country and health system. It just I don't get it, dude. Man, I don't know.
Yeah, it's fucked.
It's wacky. All right. Well, I don't know where we're at in terms of time here, but do you have anything in what you're watching?
Yeah, we watched Mufasa the other day.
Oh yeah, Mufasa.
Yeah, the beginning of The Lion King we watched.
Yeah, how was that?
It was all right. It was all right. You know, it showed you the like the prequel to The Lion King, taught you who Mufasa is and his upbringing and stuff. It was all right. There was more songs than I wanted, but it was all right.
Were any of the songs catchy? Like would you be like, oh yeah, this because you know the first Lion King
Yeah. No.
animated one was good.
No, I don't think any of the songs were like, oh man, that was a good song. I should sing it again. No. I mean, they did have Timon and Pumbaa doing one of their songs, like one of their original songs.
Mm-hmm.
A little changed for the times, but it was good. I liked it. You see how Scar becomes Scar also,
Okay.
which was good. It was a good show, you know, or a good movie for what it was.
Okay. Well,
So watch that one.
Beyonce's kid Blue Ivy was a voice in there, huh?
Oh, I didn't know that was her kid.
Yeah, Blue Ivy Carter, Jay-Z.
Yeah.
Oh, Seth Rogen played Pumbaa, huh?
Yep. And Billy Eichner for Timon.
Mads Mikkelsen, Handy Newton.
Yep. And Donald Glover.
Oh, and
Oh,
then
and Beyonce.
Beyonce as Nala.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. So watch that. Started watching In a World. That was terrible. I fell asleep watching that.
I did see that on
I had
your.
such high hopes for that, and man, I was really disappointed.
This is the one with Lake Bell, right?
Yeah, she
So-
wrote and directed it, I believe.
This was supposed to be a based on an underachieving voice coach finds herself competing in the movie trailer. Yeah, the In a world.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where that came from, right? So
Yeah.
it's terrible, huh?
I didn't like it. I mean, I fell asleep probably 3 or 4 times trying to watch it.
Really?
Um, Joy said it was okay. She said it was slow, but it was okay.
Okay.
But it's got a lot of people in it.
So not one necessarily you would recommend.
Maybe when I have more time and I'm not like just tired and bored, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's got a lot of like
A lot of
I
heavy hitters,
mean,
man.
yeah, Lake Bell, Rob Corddry, Ava Longoria, Dimitri Martin, Nick Offerman, Tig Notaro, Gina Davis. I mean, these are some pretty big names. It's
Well, I'm
like
surprised you
I didn't
didn't see
read the
Fred.
ones I didn't recognize, so these other people could be famous that I
You
just
don't
don't
know
know.
Fred Melamed? You know Fred Melamed.
No,
You know him.
the name does not sound familiar.
Yeah, but he's in a lot of stuff. You know who he is.
Okay. Well, you say that, but I fall asleep through most movies, so
True that, true that. But it was all right from what I saw. But yeah, I want to give it another shot because the trailer made it seem fucking awesome.
yeah.
You know. Other than that, really even just catching up on AP Bio, almost done with that. That guy, that's Fred right there. He's in a lot of shit.
Yeah, it doesn't look familiar
Oh, well, you're stupid.
to me. I'm stupid because I don't know a guy. I got it.
And then, Deal or No Deal Island, I'm really hooked on that. Traders, we're watching that. You watch Traders yet?
No.
Oh my God, dude, Traders is amazing.
Me and my wife have talked about it, so it's on
Yeah,
our thing
so
to
good.
do.
So good. Yeah, Deal or No Deal Island is pretty good. And then AP Bio already said. Other than that, yeah, that's pretty much all we're watching. And
Okay.
then Next Level Chef, we watched that. You watched that one?
No. A lot of
That one's
these
good.
like reality things and stuff, like if I do watch them, it would be like in passing. So like the things like kind of like those, like if we're sitting down for dinner, we might put on My 600 Pound Life, which is always a funny thing to put on when you're
Eating?
eating because it makes you feel like, oh, maybe I shouldn't go back for thirds. And
Yeah.
then I do anyways and
Yeah.
wonder why I'm well on my way to becoming a star on that show. Um, I am working on my so you know the doctor on that My 600 Pound Life.
I've never seen it.
Okay, well, anyways, they have the doctor. He's like famous on this show. Been working on that impression so we
Oh,
can do a fucking thing at some point on that. Um,
okay.
and I just it started out as me kind of like it kind of started out like me fucking with my wife like as him. Like,
Mhm.
she's eating, and then I'll like say like things that he says to other people on the show, I'll say to her, but then I started doing the voice. He's got a very unique kind of like broken English voice. So um I started doing that, and now it's
What's
turned
it
in.
on?
I don't know. I think it might be like it's not Lifetime, but it's like one of those kind of
Okay, I'll look for it.
channels. It's kind of like it's on the same network that I think Hoarders is on and shit like
Okay.
that.
Yeah, I
It's
think it's
those kinds
A&E.
of things that,
I think that's
I like,
A&E.
yeah, A&E, I think that you're right. But like so like I don't know, I'm not gonna sit here and promote that shit. I just it's what's on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. No, I like
Um
I like Next Level Chef because they get well this season they have home chefs, so just people that work, cook at home and that's it. They're not professionals. They have professionals, and then they have social media chefs as the contestants. You you start off in the bottom, the basement, and the basement has like really shitty, really shitty tools. Like not a very good, like it's a
yeah,
rundown dungeon. It's terrible, and they have to make a really good dish out of it. And
right.
then if you do good, then you go to the next level, which is a mediocre, decent kitchen. It's got everything you need, but not great. And then the top level is like the best of the best. And when you're in the competition, you've got 3 levels. Each person's in a different level or whatever. And they have a food cart that starts on the top level, they get first right of refusal. Then it goes to second level, and then third level gets whatever's left over. And
Just
they
like
only
that
get
movie. There was a movie that had that with food.
really.
Yeah. Like, so I've seen this movie. I think it was on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there. I can't remember what it's called, but this concept is a cooking show, but with this based on this movie, I swear. It's a whole like, so it's a prison or something like that. And this, like, if you're like on level one, it's like everything is just like fucking whatever. And as this, you get like 5 minutes and then it drops to the next level, drops to the next level, drops to the next level. And if you're on like level like 98, you're getting the dregs of whatever's left on this fucking thing. And then like people go to sleep and then they wake up the next day and it's kind of like Cube. Remember those movies?
Yeah.
The Cube movies? But with like a food kind of thing. They wake up on a different level.
Okay.
And you could be on level 2 one day and on level 300 the next day, and you're like, fuck. So when you do get food, you want to like eat as much as you can because you might not get anything in the next several days.
Okay.
You might be on a shitty level.
Right.
I can't remember the name of this movie, but same concept, just now with a cooking show. So I am curious to watch this cooking show though.
It is pretty interesting. I think there's 3 seasons, I think. Maybe more.
48 episodes.
4 seasons. There's 4 seasons.
Yeah, 4 seasons. So now I just recently heard of this. I didn't know it had been around that long.
Yeah, yeah, it's a good show. Like it's fun to watch because it's just ridiculous the shit that they have to make and the shit that they get.
Yeah. No, I'd watch this. This would be something that we would watch like while we're eating.
Yeah.
I like Gordon Ramsay. I like that does he do a lot of yelling?
No, he's actually really nice.
Is he? I kind of like when he yells.
He's himself though. Like one lady asked him for something. He's like, I'm your what the fuck did he say? I'm your mentor, not your bitch or something like that. I thought that was pretty funny.
Nice.
But yeah, so there's the different levels of kitchens.
Yeah.
Bottom's fucking terrible.
It's interesting. What an interesting concept for a show. You're gonna have to look into that movie though.
I'll have to do some digging today. I'll have a free hour in between sessions later.
Yeah. If when we get off the air, I'll look it up, and if I figure out what it is, I'll send it to you.
Okay.
It was a decent movie. I remember that. But yeah, same kind of concept, minus the cooking.
Yeah, and the winner gets like I think $250,000 and a year mentorship with the cooks.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So other than that, yeah, there's not much else new that we're watching.
The only thing I have watched that like I watched beginning to end was The Green Mile. It's an old movie, but I hadn't seen it in a long time, and I watched that. And man, that's a good movie. I kind of like I struggle with Tom Hanks because of all the rumors and shit going around with him, but like if I can get past that and suspend my disbelief that he is behind some of the shit that he's behind, allegedly, that's a really fucking good movie.
Yeah, it is.
And I forgot how hated or how much I hate that Percy character.
Mm-hmm.
God, what a vile piece of shit. Like I hate that character so much. If even that actor that played him, if I saw him in anything else, even if he was like supposed to be the hero, I would fucking hate him. Like his face is now associated with that, and I don't think I could ever get beyond it.
Who was that?
I don't know. Let me look it up here. I've got IMDb up.
Yeah.
He's been in other things. I've seen him in
I want
other
to say
things.
it's Gary Sinise, but I don't think that's right.
No, it's not Gary Sinise. Where is he?
Oh, Doug Hutchinson.
Yeah. Percy. Such a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I mean, he does a hell of a piece of shit in that movie, but That was a really good movie. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I haven't seen that in a while.
I hadn't seen it for a long time, so I think it was on Tubi or something like that. But so I watched that, and then the only other thing I can say is I started watching just last night. It's also on Tubi now. Is Hideout.
Ah,
I know. But I was so curious because you know I was there for most of the filming, and now it's a different version. So I was curious to see. I did fall asleep, so that's not giving it very good right off the bat there. But you know, I intend to get all the way through this movie. The only thing I can say initially, and I could be biased, I'm probably biased, but I remember being there for some of the scenes that were shot early on that would have been towards the beginning of the movie.
yeah.
And I believe they were shot better the first time than what I saw in, say, the first 30 minutes of the movie before I fell asleep.
Mhm.
Certain scenes, like in a bar and all that. I don't want to give too much away, but like I was there for the filming of those scenes, and the original, what would you call him? Photographer guy,
Yeah.
videographer, whatever. I believe did a better job of capturing a moment.
Did they keep the big wrestler in the bar
No,
scene?
no. Because you haven't seen any of it.
I watched the first 3 minutes.
Okay. So the guy that is now replacing the wrestler is a guy we both know and had casted in a film with his wife who are no longer together.
Yeah.
That ought to give you enough information as to who that is.
Yeah.
And then the guy that is now your character or whatever, completely different in terms of like cowboy hat and everything. I don't recall you ever having the cowboy hat. It's
No,
kind of
I wear a baseball cap.
yeah. Well, this guy had a cowboy hat and like a leather jacket or something like that. Was a different style. The guy that was sitting at the bar that was talking to the
Yeah.
big wrestler who, I mean, he had one line and delivered it or whatever. He then became the uh Joe is the main character, the main guy character, right? Played by
Yeah.
Zach. That guy became Zach's best buddy or Joe's character's best buddy or whatever. And then so like that whole scene that was filmed out at the fire pit,
Yeah.
none of that's in the movie. So like there's no like group of dudes that he was like, talking to. It's this one dude and they're just chilling on a couch. It's interesting because I was there and I knew the different scenes as they were coming up to the point I fell asleep. And it's different. Same general script, but different. And I really think the original footage was better, in my opinion.
Yeah. I'm sure it was.
I'm not going to comment on the rape scene, the bathroom crying scene, or any of that, because that's about where I fell asleep. So I gotta get back and get beyond that, and then see how the rest of the interactions in the house go. And then they did a lot more outside the bar with like an ambulance and all that. That might be the only part that I thought was better than what they had originally done. He must have got a ambulance rented and people dressed like as the EMTs or something. And
They probably were actual EMTs from that ambulance, probably.
yeah, and when they had like a gurney and all that, like stuff that could have helped in the original version, but was done in this version. So that ended up being a little better. But other than that, that's the only part that I thought looked better in the second one than what I saw from the first one. But you know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
So I'll if I ever get through the end of it, I'll give a full thing. But
Yeah, let me know.
so far, I would, let's put it this way, I would never have gone and watched that movie had I not been a part of it in some way, shape, or form. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I just wouldn't have. It was not my flavor. But
I know I saw enough to see my name was still in the credits.
okay. I'm curious, I actually don't like, I kind of was, as I was watching it, I missed like the first handful of names that were up on screen in the beginning dance sequence thing that he did there. And so I actually missed your name. I don't recall seeing it, but you obviously saw it, so it's there. But I tend to like look at the end credits and see shit like that. So I haven't made it that far. But anyways, all right. Well, let's stop sharing Green Mile while we're talking about a complete different movie. I just realized that. Anyways, I think that'll wrap it up for this episode, eh?
That'll work, man.
All right, let me hammer through these.
Socials.
You can email us, guys who still high number 5 at gmail.com. Go over to Patreon and you'll get extra stuff. It's $5 a month for the extra stuff. Otherwise, you can just go over there and, watch and listen for free. I do think you have to like sign up.
Yeah, you still have to sign up
into Patreon, but you don't necessarily have to like
Hey.
subscribe. If you subscribe, you get the extra stuff. And that is patreon.com/guys who still high 5, all spelled out. YouTube, obviously you can watch and listen there for free. Oh, that's one thing with Patreon. It comes out 2 days sooner on Patreon than it does anywhere else.
Yeah.
So like YouTube would be Wednesday, Patreon's Monday. So if you want to get ahead of the game,
yeah,
go to Patreon. Otherwise, you can watch it with the rest of the world on YouTube. YouTube.com/at guys who still high 5, all spelled out. Go to Instagram, guys who still high number 5. TikTok is guys who still high 5, all spelled out. And X, we are at guys still high number 5. No who is in that. And that'll do it.
That'll work.
All right. Well, until next time, right on.
Left off.